All right, what's popping, y'all? Look, this is about the third time I've tried this little intro. I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. I've had some technical difficulties, but as you can see, the black lights are on. The ring light is on and popping. The melanin is out and shaking. The sun is out and shining on the skin. I'm sweaty right now, but that's because I've been out here hustling for y'all. We got a new section of the DeAndre Way podcast coming out for you that I've been working on for a few weeks, a few months now. And it's finally time to debut the first episode, y'all. So without further ado, I welcome y'all to the Trueson Tribune. Yeah, y'all. As you can see, it's all about Mizzou up in here. Mizzou for my Tigers out there, for all the other schools. Y'all be about to be saying boo-hoo this season. And yeah, so with this podcast, before I get started, I gotta introduce my co-host. This person covers, I've known this person for a long time now. It's been some minutes. We met at Mizzou. He covers the St. Louis Cardinals. If you like the Cardinals, then you better go check his page out. If you haven't, then you probably sleep. But look, this person needs no further introduction outside of his own introduction. So I'll bring to the stage Mr. Brennan Schaefer.
Oh my goodness, DeAndre. What an intro. I'm just so impressed. A little seductive for my taste, but it was very nice. Very good. Appreciate the intro. So Mizzou podcast, is that what this is? We're talking Mizzou.
It's called the Trueson Tribune. So what
Okay.
this is, if y'all confused back at home and you still haven't understood with all this black and gold popping in your face at this point, you didn't watch the video. Rewind and watch the video again. I put a lot of work into it. This is where we gonna spoon feed SEC success and sob stories. We gonna divulge into what's going down south, and we are here to lay down the law when others are lying about Mizzou, and that's what we doing here at the Trueson Tribune.
Okay.
You like that? Yeah, that was clean.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah, y'all. We talking all things Mizzou here. That's as of relevance and SEC, and because all these other people I be seeing out there, Oklahoma, well now Oklahoma, Alabama, all these other podcasts and stuff, they don't know what the hell really going on. They're so biased. They have tape over their eyes that they can't see anything else. And it's time to unleash the blinders and really show what's popping and show y'all to quit being disrespectful.
That sounds good to me. Is that what this is all about? Because I do think nationally they don't really understand Mizzou. You know what I mean?
They don't understand, man.
It's a footnote for them, and we know it a little better than they do down south. I guess Mizzou kind of southeastern. We like to think, but yeah, this will be fun. I'm curious to see some sports takes from you, DeAndre, because you and I have gone round and round over the years, and now there's going to be a camera on it. So be ready for that.
Hey, I'm always ready, Freddie, because I always come with the facts. I don't come with, delusion and fiction and fairy tales and Disney Plus.
We'll see.
Well, I don't. I will see. But anyways, we going to get started, y'all. So it's going to be, we going to probably, we starting slow, all right? We going to start once or twice a week. We're going to go try and go live. This first one's going to be pre-recorded, as you probably know. But we're going to go live as the time goes on. And if y'all have any thoughts or opinions, leave them in the comments below. But we're going to get into it, y'all. We got a few topics we're going to cover. The first one is going to be, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a couple things. The first one is going to be about our friend, Mr. Jontay Porter, man. We got an article up here, and we're going to read this article real quick, and we're going to give the take on it. So here's the article. So former Toronto Raptors player and Mizzou basketball player, Jontay Porter pleads guilty to illegal betting. The NBA said Porter plays more than a dozen bets on basketball games. That's crazy. We know the rules. You can't bet when you play in the games. Come on, coach. Oh, Lord, this man. Former Raptors player Jontay Porter pleaded guilty Wednesday. So this past Wednesday, last Wednesday, to a single count of wire fraud in a gambling scheme that cost him his NBA career. Porter in a dark suit and tie said guilty. Dang, that's cold. When asked by a federal magistrate in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn? Oh, he's right around the corner. I should have went to the K. I should have went.
You could have been there.
I should have went and supported the man. But how he pleaded guilty to charge and admitted to he withdrew from games so he and others could benefit electronic. Dang, he let everything out. This is good. This is some.
Well, he had to. He had to plead guilty. We knew that. We knew what happened was alleged, and then if he's being convicted of it, there's nothing to hide from at that point. I think he kind of had to plead
Yeah.
guilty. You know.
Yeah, no, that's tough, man. I mean, you're on the only occupation that would actually arrest you for doing something like that. So it's kind of
Well,
weird.
I mean, it gets to a federal level. You're talking about gambling, and when there's money involved, it's always going to be an issue. And he basically said, "Hey, I'm going to leave this game early so I don't get as many rebounds, I don't score as many points. Y'all need to bet on it." But what I think the case was is that these guys kind of had him by the screws anyway, because he was maybe in some gambling debt with them, and so this was supposed to be the way to kind of settle his debt. It's really sad that he kind of got in too deep where he felt like he had to do this, because you're right. He threw away his career, banned from the NBA. Now that's harsh.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, uh, I ain't never seen nothing like. I mean, I've seen like the Tim Donaghy
Yeah.
stuff. That's the only other one I can think of like that was as big of a case as this, and of course it happens to a Mizzou player. Uh,
Well,
but it's just like I think. I mean, compared to like somebody working in a hedge fund and you can't invest in certain the stock market for the most part, or else you're gonna probably get tried on a federal level as well. So that's pretty much the same, and it's easy. I mean, just don't do it. I mean, you're already making millions of dollars, and I mean, it's stupidity on his part. I mean, I mean, his brother's in the NBA too, so it's not like his family's doing bad or anything. He has over $150 million contract. So I don't understand. I don't understand the rationale behind it. I get like doing stupid things when you're young and whatnot, but you're knowingly you're making money and you're trying to like make a few more dollars. So it just doesn't make sense.
I
I
think
don't
he
know.
got in with the wrong crowd, man. I think he was in with people that were
Don't
his.
blame others.
No, it's not that I blame others. It's his decision to run with those folks, but I think he got in too deep. He had gambling debts to these shady characters, right? And when they come up with the idea to say, "Hey, here's how you can get square with us. You don't have to worry about this anymore, but you're going to have to compromise your integrity and do something that could cost you if it ever comes out." And oh my gosh, how obvious was it? They're betting parlays on Jontay Porter. I don't know if they would have got him, because it happened once, but then it happened again where he left the game early, something with his eye. Oh, my eye, I can't see, my eye hurts, something like that, to make it somewhat believable. But then when you start looking, both games this happened on whatever sports book it was. That was the highest dollar value prop bets of the day on that sports book, was betting for his totals to go under, for him to do poorly in the games. And it happened twice. So at that point, they're going to investigate and go, what? It happens once. It's like, okay, that's a little bit weird. Why was everybody so happy to bet under on Jontay Porter? He's kind of a random, just out of the G League. He's kind of trying to make it. When it happens again later in the year, I think that was when they kind of bit off more than they could chew.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I didn't even know his name would be on the books because he's getting what 10 minutes a game, if that. He wasn't playing, so I
Just
don't
play a
even know
little
how
bit.
it's. I mean, not enough to get your name on the books. Like, there's some players I want to bet on because I know they're gonna play a few minutes and they're gonna get under this. So, but the sports books are smart now, and so they're X, and they're not even letting you bet on those. Some are like DraftKings is pretty good at Xing them out. That's what I
Well,
use. So,
well,
I
and you're a
mean,
big winner over there, I assume.
we got some wins and we got some L's, but it's a new season coming up, so we starting from zero, coach. We all starting from scratch right now.
You don't want to be starting from zero. That's not a good bankroll to have if you're trying to get into the season.
I'm just saying, coach. It takes time. You got to adjust. Every new season's a new season. That's all I
Okay.
got to say.
I'm just asking.
But yes, this article finishes by saying the wire fraud conspiracy charge carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. Damn. But the former Toronto Raptors player agreed not to appeal anything less than 5 years. Porter will also be required to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines and restitution. His
Oh,
lawyer said Porter became addicted to gambling and had amassed, which is real. That's a real thing.
there it
I
is.
understand the addiction thing. Large gambling debts. Porter is encouraged by his accomplices to clear those debts by withdrawing from certain game. Okay, blah blah blah. We know that already.
I
Four
coached him.
others. He coached him. Yeah. A league investigation found he tipped off other gamblers about his health and then falsely claimed he was sick so he could stop playing in at least one game, creating a windfall for those gamblers who placed bets. Four others have been charged by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York. Porter's sentencing is set for December 18th, 2024. The former NBA player was released. Oh, so he's not. Okay, so he is released on a $250,000 bond co-signed by his wife and his mother, both of whom were in the courtroom. The judge instructed Porter to have no contact with four co-conspirators who have been charged in the case.
Yeah, I bet.
Dang. His
It's heavy
mom
stuff,
and his
dude.
wife.
Heavy stuff, man.
That's
It's a
tough.
shame
What?
too, man. I remember he was he was told in high school, and back when he was there and his brother Michael was there, I was writing for the Columbia Tribune, covering high school sports. I remember, going to some of those games, but even before he was at Mizzou, and a good player, and probably would have been able to make it in the league, I think, for a little while. I don't know that he would have been a star, but I think he would have carved out a nice kind of a nice niche for himself, and that's all gone. It's a shame. It really is, because I think he got twisted up in the wrong kind of stuff. And like you said, I'm not saying it's, he doesn't bear some responsibility. He's the one that ultimately made the actions and made the decisions, but I feel like he just felt pressured and was in a spot where he didn't know any other way to get out of it. And that's where it sucks, because it didn't have to be that way if he had maybe figured out a different path a little bit sooner.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, you around all those. Your parents seem like good people. They were pretty much stars in Mizzou in Columbia because they're kids. Like their daughter played basketball at Mizzou. Obviously, Michael Porter Jr. and Jontay and this, that, and the third. And then you're the one that gets involved in this. That just seems. I don't know. Something. That's definitely gonna be on like an ESPN 30 for 30 in a few years, and I can't wait to watch and kind of see what's going on in this man's head. But
Wow.
I've seen
You-
we've seen it before. I mean, look, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it because that dude is just plain stupid. I'm sorry, but
Wow.
yeah, we gotta learn. We gotta learn it's one way or the hard way. So I hope he enjoys his last few months in open air.
Yeah, he's probably going to get a little sentence there, but hopefully not a long one. A couple few years, I think, is probably going to happen, though, unfortunately.
Over or under 5 years in prison.
I think it'll be under. It'll be under because
You
he
think
said
it's gonna be under?
yeah, because he said he's not going to appeal. If they give him, that's like the way to get leniency is I'm not going to appeal. I'm not going to make this difficult. If they slap him with a few years, I think 3-4 years is probably what you'll see.
I think they're gonna give him a solid 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna go even. Go even bets on that. So we can bet on that. We'll bet on like how long. I don't know
think
what
I'm
the
gonna
odds are.
not. Yeah, I'm not going to bet. I think that's probably a bad signal to send when we're talking about a guy going to federal for a gambling situation. Just my
Hey,
thought.
okay. I'm gonna
I'm
bet
here to keep
over
you
5 years for his homies. Over
Okay.
5 years for his homies.
Okay, I agree with that. Yeah, they're going
He
down.
gonna snitch. He gonna snitch on. But in other news, we had NCAA 25 come out yesterday.
Yeah.
No, Monday. Yeah, yesterday was Monday. So yes, NCAA 25 came out on Monday. I have not. I ordered the game. I don't really play video games much anymore, but I
Oh, you're gonna
am
get
gonna play this.
You are
Oh, no,
gonna get.
I'm gonna do the cooking with Brady Cook. We gonna be doing it all. So
You think you're
once
gonna
I get
beat these kids out there that play video games like 24/7, and you're like, maybe I'll order it. Maybe
you
I'll
forget
order the game.
I'm a pro in the game. I got past co-conspirators of mine that can vouch for me, and I put in work. And
Okay,
that's all
let
I'm
me
gonna
ask
say on
you
that.
this though. I got to ask you because they had the whole name, image, and likeness, and that didn't used to be able to profit off of your NIL, and then they had kind of that lawsuit where they settled, and a bunch of people are going to get some payouts. You getting some money or what? I know
No,
you're
I got paid through 2 or 3 years ago.
okay.
From the NIL for when they sent all the players like some money and
Yeah.
whatnot. That and then the lawsuit with the injuries. I think it was
Mhm.
like the concussion stuff, or I can't remember what it was. I don't think I'm gonna get no more money. I doubt it. It wasn't that much money in the first place.
Okay.
I
It's
don't
all
know
right.
that they can what they can do. They can't estimate like, oh, we'll send you this much. Like it got to be like a pension setting where you need to send something every month. I don't want a one-time check. I want continuous checks or something. Give me like, I mean, I already get what I want from Mizzou, but I want something like, give me free tickets to any game I want every single
Oh,
week.
I mean, you put in a lot of work for them. I mean, you played a lot of time. You saw the field a bunch. It was, legendary career.
I got some scars still, coach. I got some scars. Come on now. They was trying this player. And this player ain't gonna stop until he gets what's his. So one way or another, we'll see what's up. But if I gotta take the money myself, I'm gonna do it. Or take the
Okay.
benefits, I'll
I
do
don't I don't really like the implication of that, but I'll move on.
it. Anyways, we got NCAA 25. Mizzou came in the game. This is an article from TrumanStales.com. Says Missouri comes into the game criminally underrated as expected, coming in at a lowly 85. I think that's very underrated. They should be at least an 87 at minimum.
Well,
They
it's the defense that got totally undervalued. The offense is a pretty good rating, but the defense got like a 76 or something, which I know they're changing coaches and some new players, but that's come on now. They did
Yeah, that's crazy.
Colorado was at way higher than that, and their defense
Yeah,
was
Colorado's
terrible.
like they're like a 90 something, I think. Mizzou's at 89 overall, with led by Luther Burden, who's a 94. Brady Cook, who's Luther Burden probably should be higher than 94. He's the second best receiver in the country, um, arguably best. So he should at least be a 96 or five. Brady Cook 88, that seems right.
It's
Running
okay.
backs Nate Noel and Marcus Carroll, both 85. I'm not too familiar with either of their games.
It's
And
interesting
Missouri's
that they're both 85 though. Two transfers coming in, and we don't really know who the starter is going to be. So they just said, "Yeah, both of them are 85."
Yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, because they lost all their running backs from the past. On the end of the spectrum, Missouri's defense was rated 76. Woo.
That's bad. That's not
That's
fair.
very.
Come on
I
now.
mean, they did lose a lot of players in the draft. Like they lost a lot of defensive players in the draft.
And their
But
coach, but still, like because they recruited well and they got transfers to come in. That's a little bit. That's a little bit much for me to say
yeah,
you're going to give them a 76 when you get again. Colorado was like outside the top 100 in terms of defensive stats last year, and I think their defense got like an 84 or an 85. I really don't understand that. But the good news is it's just a video game. It's not going to actually impact the team. If they're right, we might have to, lower expectations on Mizzou's season a little bit. But I don't think the video game is going to turn out to be correct about that. I think they'll have a better defense than EA Sports seems to think.
I mean, we'll see. EA Sports has been wrong in the past, and they probably be wrong in the future as well. But yes, Mizzou has definitely getting slept on as usual in the games too. I mean, I'm looking at some of the other ratings. There's nobody that really, I mean, that stands out outside the people I named. But look, if you got NCAA 25, play at Mizzou. Tell me how Mizzou is before I play it, because hopefully I don't know when it's coming. It should be coming in Friday, and we'll see. But I'm gonna stream some of it, and y'all gonna see. And I'm gonna post some next week when we do the next week episode. I'm gonna
You're
show
going to
you.
stream it
I'm gonna have
live?
an undefeated record. Put that
I
on
don't
mama.
believe that. Not if you're
Put
playing
that on mama.
online. There ain't no way.
You sleep. You know I used to be MLG, right? You know I
You're
used
going
to
to
go to
have
tournaments and win, right?
you're going to have 14-year-olds cooking you on this game when you play online.
They don't. This ain't Call of Duty. You can't just press. You can't just have all these codes and do this and that. This is football. You can't really cheat the game. Well, you can cheat the game. It's a game, but you can't do all the extra little Fortnite tactics, building a million boxes up on the sky. This ain't Fortnite, okay?
What do you know
This is a
about
game.
football, though? I mean,
What
being
do I know?
honest.
What do I know? We'll see what game plan I come up with. I got something up my sleeve, coach.
We
Let's
can
just say,
play. I'll order the game, too. We can play. We'll make it happen.
Well, bet. I'm looking forward to it. You can add my gamer tag if you need it. It's DandreMac, my
Oh,
Instagram name. So
man,
check it
that's
out.
cool. You got a lot of Instagram followers?
A few. Nothing crazy like that.
Okay. All right.
But anywho, we are going to now get into our main segment, and our main segment is ranking the SEC teams from 16 to 1.
Mm.
We each made our own individual rankings, unless we co-agree on the rankings. And yeah, that's what we doing right now. So
Beautiful.
without further ado, I'll get started.
He's always looking for a button to press. He's like, I gotta be pressing a button.
Yeah, I gotta get ready, coach.
Something going on here.
But yes, we are getting ready. And my number 16 team, because there's 16 teams down in the SEC. If y'all been sleeping under a rock, 16 team, obviously, no shocker here. That's my 16 team. They're
No love for
trash.
the Doors, huh?
You know, I live close to the Vanderbilt Street or Avenue in New York, and I see like they're prominent out like in the finance world, and they're like historic things that comes to that. But in football, nah, they're 16. There's not. I mean, it's self-explanatory. And if you guys want me to get into a little bit of detail with that, I'll just pull up their schedule real quick,
I don't
man.
think on Vanderbilt you have to do much detail. They didn't win a conference game last year.
Yes, they not winning another one this year. They not winning. Mizzou L,
Um,
Alabama L, Kentucky L, maybe W Kentucky, Texas L, Auburn maybe, probably L, South Carolina they have a little bit of hope, L and a
yeah,
D.
I would
So
set the over under at like 0.5 or like 1.5 conference wins. It's going to be a low number. It's
so
hard to win there. It's just
who's
tough.
your number 16?
No, it's Vanderbilt for me too. It's Vanderbilt at number 16 for me. There's another team that if I was going to be biased, I would try to put there just to be cheeky, but I'm going to try to keep it straight up and I'll go Vanderbilt. And I don't know, like we'll see if this is another year they kind of go through head coaches and maybe they build. At some point some years they kind of come close to bowl eligible. I just don't know. The SEC adding Texas and Oklahoma as well is not going to make life any easier for Vanderbilt in football. It's probably going to be another lean year for them.
Very lean indeed. I hope they've been taking their protein pills or whatnot, or protein powder because they're
You can
gonna
do
need it.
that.
Protein powder.
You don't want to get
Excuse me. I don't think,
a blood test or something. Come up with something you ain't supposed to be having. I know that wouldn't. I know that would never happen.
it could, but I keep leaning mean and control. Health is wealth, as I like to say. 2024, man. Make sure y'all getting that sun outside. Anywho, number 15 for me is Mississippi State.
Okay, we already have a
Mississippi State
difference.
is not good to me at all. They didn't have a good season last year, and I can't see them having an amazing one this year. Here's the SEC schedule. Take out the games. Florida. I think Florida gonna be better this year. That's probably a L. Texas L. Georgia L.
Oh
Texas
man,
A&M. They could win that game, and they
Eh,
Arkansas. I think they're
that's the
gonna come
one.
back because Arkansas got a good coach, but they could. I just think that a lot of their 50-50 games, they're not going to win the 50-50 games. They got a 3-game stretch at the end of the season that's just tough because their away games are their home games are difficult to me. Florida's
At
not going to
least,
be easy.
yeah.
Arkansas is going to be pretty good to me this year because they got a new coach, and
Well, they got
Mizzou
an
is.
offensive coach. We might disagree on Arkansas a little bit because they
I
brought
think Arkansas going to be good this year. That's just me.
no, okay because that's who I have at number 15 is Arkansas.
You
I
have Arkansas.
Yeah, and if I wanted to be a homer, I would have put him 16. But I don't think they're as bad as Vanderbilt. But they were terrible last year. You saw that Mizzou game against Arkansas at the end of the season. I mean, they blew them out. And I'm surprised they didn't get a new head coach. They got Bobby Petrino as the offensive coordinator, and I think that'll help their offense. New quarterback, we'll see what ends up happening there. I think they got a pretty solid one. But I don't know about Sam Pittman, man, and he didn't recruit all that well either this past cycle. So for me, I am going Arkansas at number 15. I could be wrong, but I'm just not very high on him at this point. I think they probably fire Sam Pittman by the end of the season.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, Arkansas, they're definitely hard team to like pick because they've been so bad for so long. And but the thing is, was it last year, the year before they played KU? Was it last year? And they beat them in the bowl game.
That was 2 years ago. Yeah, because
That was
last year
2 years ago.
they didn't make a bowl game last year. They had one conference win.
Okay. Okay. Well, one ain't gonna get the job done.
That's not gonna do it.
But we will continue, and I got my number 14 team, who is gonna be South Carolina, the Trash Columbia School.
Why do you hate
Um,
Shane Beamer? Wow.
they lost their starting quarterback Spencer Rattler, who I thought was pretty good for them last year. And the biggest thing I look at is like, okay, you got new players coming in and out, but it's your schedule at home. Your schedule at home. And when I pull up South Carolina and I look at their home schedule, first off, they play LSU at home.
Mm.
Not easy. They play
Feel like
Mizzou at home. And that's it. And Ole Miss at home. Like, come
they
on.
gotta go to Bama though. They gotta go to Bama to Clemson. That's a tough
That's
schedule.
not SEC. That's not SEC. That don't mean nothing. I don't worry about I'm not worried about those other games right now. Until the
Okay.
season comes, I'm not gonna worry about week to week. I'm just worried about the SEC schedule because that's the only thing that matters when it comes to. You could lose all the other games and win every SEC game and still be in the championship game.
Sure.
I mean, you probably won't be there because then they're going to go off the rest of the game.
Yeah, if you
So,
lose
but
to Old Dominion, I'm afraid that you're not probably gonna get off to a very
yes,
good footing.
but you can't tell me that they're going to win a single SEC home game this year.
Um, I mean, I hope they don't. I mean, I hope because again, Missouri, I'm
And Texas A&M.
kind of counting that Missouri game as a win for the Tigers, but you still got to go play the games, and it's always hard to win on the road. But you're right. I mean, there's some tough ones in there, no question about it.
Yeah, I mean there are away games like Oklahoma, Alabama. The only easy one they got is Vanderbilt, and
They're gonna have a
like
bowl eligibility is no guarantee for South Carolina this year. I agree.
nah,
Schedule's
I,
tough, but I think they're a better team though than Mississippi State. That's who I have at number 14, and you had them even lower, so that's fine. Mississippi State, new head coach. We just don't really know much about what that's going to look like yet, and so I'm in wait and see mode on them. That's why I've got them so low.
yeah, Mississippi State. I like the Mississippi State colors too. They got colors
No,
that I
you played college football in the SEC, and you're here talking about colors. That's what you're making your rankings off of. We're gonna have
nah,
a
I
lot of fun
wish
this year.
it'd be nice though. It'd be nice. Anywho, we gonna continue this schedule, and my 13th team is Auburn.
Whoa.
Auburn, other sorry Tigers. Not a big fan of the school. I haven't been well, yeah, I haven't been there before, but I don't like the other Tigers in the conference. This is why I think Auburn's 13. Once again, a tough home schedule outside of Vanderbilt. Actually, they don't have that tough of a home schedule, but I still think that they're a team that's gonna be iffy on a lot of games. They have a newer coach, and they're still trying to find their identity. I mean, they have a Vanderbilt at home. They got Arkansas at home, and those are the only. And then Texas A&M at home. Texas A&M, I think, is really, really good. So I just think with that, and then all their away games are pretty tricky and tough. So, and they just don't measure up to me. And I think this is a low year for Alabama
For Auburn, I
or
could see
Auburn.
I could see 7 or 8 wins for Auburn. I got to be honest with you. I won't have them on my list for a little while yet as we're working our way from the bottom to the top. Um, this might be a little controversial, but when you show Kentucky's schedule a little later, you're going to understand why. I got Kentucky at number 13, and their schedule is brutal. And I think they missed the boat last year. They had a chance. They had Mizzou on the ropes at their place in Lexington. And when they lost that game, it's just like they lost all the momentum, I thought, for their season. And I think they're going to take a little bit of a step back this year. They're one of the biggest victims of how much better the conference is going to be for adding Texas and OU to the schedule. When you see Kentucky's schedule, that's why I've got them so low. I don't think they're terrible. I think they could try to eke out bowl eligibility, but the schedule is going to make it really hard on them, in my opinion. And for Auburn, I like having Peyton Thorne, their quarterback, back. I think Hugh Freeze recruited pretty well, so I've got them a little bit higher than I do Kentucky. For number 13, for me, it is Kentucky.
And for all these teams, I think between teams of like 8 and even 14, it's probably going to be between 5 and 7 wins. I
Yeah,
think all those teams are 5 and 7. So all these could be like meshed up. It's not really like,
I agree.
yeah, I think that's kind of like, it's going to be Vanderbilt 16
Yeah,
and South Carolina or Mississippi State to me at 15. It doesn't really matter it's Vanderbilt 16, and then between 15 and number 8 is probably going to be between 5 to 7 wins. 5 to 8.
maybe one of those teams gets to 8, but I think you're pretty much spot on. Yeah.
Yeah. So these rest, that's just what time it is. 12 Arkansas for me.
Okay.
I mean, you explained it and whatnot. We talked about it already. We see their schedule and whatnot. They don't have much to go off of. They're still looking for their own identity. That's about it for me there. They ain't really got much going on. So unless they can somehow, they start off 3-0 and they don't miss up any of those early games and they go into Auburn, beat them 4-0, then they might be able to continue that momentum. But then you got the gauntlet coming up after that,
Oh,
and good luck.
A&M, Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas, and Missouri all on the schedule. They could make a bowl game, but they're
They
going to
could
have
win
to
6.
win. They
They
have
could
to win
win
every
6.
non-con and then steal one. Because I think you could beat Mississippi State, but other than that, what's the conference win that you're feeling like really good about?
They could all, yeah, exactly. Auburn is a toss up for me.
Yeah,
I think they could win that, but other than that, L Texas, L Ole Miss, L LSU, L Tennessee, L Texas A&M, L Mizzou. Like I just don't
that's a
see it.
tough. I mean, that is a tough conference schedule.
But if they get 4-0 at the top, then I can see them rolling.
All right.
So Who's
Oh,
your
who do
number
I have
12?
at number 12? Florida is who I have at 12. I'm
Okay,
not
okay.
sure on Billy Ball. I'm not sure about. I'm not. They're recruiting well. This is kind of the prove it year though to me. And like you said, the margins between who's number 10, who 11, 12, it's very very slim for me. I could have probably made a case for Florida over South Carolina. You had South Carolina pretty low, but I've got they're basically interchangeable, and I've got Florida at 12.
You got Florida at 12. I don't blame you for that choice because I'm not really high on Florida either. I mean, I'm going to Florida as you are in a few weeks, but Orlando. And I have Florida as my
Okay.
number 11.
And South Carolina's my 11, so they're basically right neck and neck.
Yeah, right. It's the same thing. We kind of on the same page and whatnot for the most part. But yeah, we'll look at Florida's schedule real quick. Their first the first game could be a L. I applaud Florida for actually making a hard out of conference schedule though, so I
Yeah,
give them props for that.
man, they
I wish
play
Mizzou would
UCF
do
as
that.
well. They play 3 Florida schools,
Yeah,
all
no,
non-con. That's
it's
interesting,
that's crazy. But hey, I give props to that. I wish Mizzou would play a little bit harder on
bro.
non-conference schedule.
They're not making a bowl game. Looking at this schedule,
Yeah, no,
that's harder than you go Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State in a row to end the year. You better go into November with 6 wins or you're done. I mean, they're not picking up a win in November
yeah. Nah, Florida's
unless
probably
they
I could
really get better.
and yeah, unless they really they quarter because they're bringing back Kansas City native. This is part of Mizzou podcast too. We can talk about this dude. What is his name? He went to Wisconsin. He went to
We could talk
Wisconsin.
about him if I could remember his name.
What is
Then
his
we
name?
really talk about him.
Hold on. What is his name? His name. He went to Johnson County School.
Graham Mertz, their
Yeah,
quarterback.
Graham Mertz gonna be back for Florida at the quarterback position. Look, I'm not high on Graham Mertz. He's a nice kid, but take out the niceness. Okay, we talking realness. Played terribly at Wisconsin with an easy schedule, easier than SEC. Florida, he actually played decent against Mizzou last year, but yeah, he's not. I'll root for him because he's from KC, but yeah, he ain't.
Oh,
He
you got
ain't
to
that coach.
represent, right?
He ain't. And I'm sorry, Graham. I'm sorry. Who's your 11? Oh, you said you're 11 already.
Yeah, South Carolina was my 11. I think you already showed the schedule. They're kind of in the same place for me as Florida, though. I think Florida's schedule is actually a little tougher, so I think I got that right, putting Florida at 12, and the Cox are 11 for me. Can I say that?
You can say whatever you want. We don't. We just saying this is not for kids.
Oh, okay.
This is the not for kids section when you edit the videos. Not for children.
Oh no.
Because I don't get paid if the videos are for kids. So forget them kids, man. If you a kid, make sure to subscribe though. Anyways, this one's gonna shock some people.
You got Alabama at 10.
Nah, I wanted to put them lower like that, but I don't think they're gonna fall off that much. It's still
No.
Alabama.
Yeah.
But who I do have fallen off is
Oh, come on. What are we doing? Okay, I disagree, but you can explain yourself.
Texas. Okay, look, hear me out. Texas is notorious for choking, right? They're kind of like the big time chokers in the grand scheme of things.
What is happening?
They're kind of like Tennessee, where they have these high expectations and they fall loose. Now, I know they made the college football playoff last year. I get that. But I can't see them doing the same thing that they did last year, 2 years back to back. And they're in the SEC now. They don't have the hardest SEC schedule, but they do have a hard non-conference schedule. Wait a minute. They play Michigan.
You said you didn't care about the non-conference games.
Okay, but I'm talking about here's my point. I'm not done yet. They play Michigan early in the season.
Okay.
They're gonna beat them up, and then they're gonna. If Texas is the type of team that needs to ride high to continue high, I don't think they're beating Michigan. Therefore, they're probably gonna win the other 3 out of 4 games.
Yeah.
But
so 3-1.
Oklahoma, Red River rivalry. I think
that's
Oklahoma gonna be nice this year because I'm not
really.
Archie Manning is the starter, or is it Quinn Ewers still?
Brother, that's Texas.
What do you mean?
We're talking about Arch Manning and Ewers are at Texas. It's going to be Ewers that starts.
That's what I said. Yeah. That's what I said.
Yeah,
Ewers is the
starting
starter
for
still,
Texas.
but I
Yeah.
think Oklahoma gonna get that lick back. Georgia gonna get that lick. That's 3 L's already.
No, wait.
Uh,
Okay, Michigan, Georgia, Oklahoma is 3. Where's another one though? At A&M, maybe.
I think Kentucky and Texas A&M gonna be nice this year, man. I think they're gonna be nice. You can see they haven't been on my list yet. I
Yeah,
think they're
that's
gonna be
true.
nice.
I
That's the last
see.
2 games of the season. They're gonna be fighting those last 2 games.
I see at least 10 wins for Texas, even if
Look,
they
it's
lose to
possible.
Michigan.
I could be
And that's
wrong.
non-con. Michigan is non-con, so they're still. Texas has a very good shot to make the SEC championship game because of the schedule. It's kind of favorable. You do have
I just
Georgia, but other than that, I just don't see much on there.
I just think the first year in the SEC, you know how Mizzou and who was it? Texas A&M first year in the SEC, 5-7, both of them, I believe. So this, I feel like Oklahoma, maybe
I'll
not
check you on that.
to the extent of Mizzou and Texas A&M, but it's still your first year in the SEC. I don't care what team you are, you're gonna have to have an adjustment period. Michigan,
Oklahoma's got their first season too, but you like them.
I like them because they've had a big recruiting class. They've had a really, really good one,
I
and
thought this
Texas is
was
built.
all
But
right.
Texas
Time
is
out.
building off the hope of last year. They're like, oh, we went to this last year. We don't know. That's not because Texas is choke. I'm looking at Texas choke job. Does Texas choke? Yes or no? All the time.
We
Do
got
they
to
be choked?
pause. We got to pause. What'd you say the Texas A&M record was in 2012?
I didn't say anything about the
You
record.
said they were 5-7, like
I'm talking
Mizzou. Mizzou was 5-7.
7-5. 7-5. What they were really good. They
Oh,
didn't
they
do.
were
They didn't.
11-2. That was the Manziel year, I
Oh
think.
yeah. No, it wasn't.
I'm pretty
Was it?
sure.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was.
I think it was. You
It
just.
was.
This is
Okay,
why.
they had a
Why you
Heisman Trophy
got
winner. Texas ain't got no Heisman Trophy winner. Last I checked. All right.
maybe Quinn Ewers pretty good. Arch Manning
Heisman.
is their backup. I don't know.
Look, I just think Texas is a choke job. If you want me to
Okay.
be frank.
All right. Well, we'll wait. I don't have Texas yet on my list. My next team is Auburn, and you had them a little lower. I think Auburn's not going to be great, but they'll be in the upper class of this like 6-6, 5-7 area, in my opinion.
Look, with these picks, you got
You
to go
picked Texas
outside the
A&M.
box a little bit. You got to go
Well,
outside the
you
box a little
did.
bit.
Yeah, you sure did that. All right. I'm anxious to see what the hell you did next.
I'm just saying, people think Mizzou is always going to be the same team, and then they surprise people. So then we're like, oh, well, how could you skip Mizzou? Well, because people be thinking the team going to be the exact same as last year. It's not the
That's
same
fair.
team.
Okay.
Anyways, my next team at number 9 is my favorite color, one of my favorite colors, actually. Kentucky. Kentucky, they're just middle of the pack road for me. There's not much to say about them. I don't really need to get into their schedule on there just because it's not. I'll just pop it up real quick.
You
So this
should
ain't
because it's
fancy.
really freaking tough. You're
Okay, look,
ignoring how difficult this is going to
look.
be for them.
The ones I can see them losing is Georgia, Ole
That's one.
Miss,
That's two. At Tennessee.
and Tennessee, and then Texas a toss up. So they're like I said, it's for between 8 and 15 interchangeable. These games can be interchangeable. I just think Kentucky's middle of the road team.
Yeah, they might win 7. It wasn't as the hard games are hard, but then they do have a number that they could probably win. Yeah,
Yeah, they got.
they'll be a bowl team. They'll
If
make a
you
bowl.
have Vanderbilt on your schedule, then you're probably going to make a bowl game.
And Murray State and Southern Miss, they got a lot of cupcakes as well.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So, but yeah, that's my number 9.
Number 9. All right. For me, this is where I do think the teams start getting a little better. But Oklahoma is my number 9 because, brother, I just am so confused why you think Oklahoma is better than Texas this year. Oklahoma might make a bowl game.
Texas chokes.
I hope Oklahoma, for their sake, does make a bowl game because their fans are going to be real sad if they don't. They're going to be real sad if they do at 6-6 or 7-5. But I'll wait because you clearly have Oklahoma up a lot higher. You'll pull up their schedule eventually, and then I'll talk you through how it's going to go for them. But that's what I've got at number 9.
Okay. I have at number 8 the Volunteers of Tennessee. Tennessee, number 8, 9, 10, all same essentially. Here's their schedule and whatnot. They got Oklahoma. That's an L to me. Arkansas dub. Florida dub. Alabama L. Kentucky upper W or L. Mississippi State dub. Georgia L and Vanderbilt dub. So middle of the pack. I guess 8 wins, 7, 8 wins. Nothing special on them. They're gonna have high hopes. They're probably gonna go in 3-0 and then
If
Maybe
they
even
beat
lose to NC State. They
Oklahoma,
could even lose to NC State. So I don't know.
if they beat Oklahoma to go 4-0, you're gonna suddenly be thinking a lot different about Tennessee. But to be fair, I don't have them much higher than you do, so that's all good. My 8th team is A&M though. I think they're gonna be pretty good. That's for Mizzou. That's a road game that I'm worried about. First road game. I like that it's like an early kickoff, 11 a.m. I think, because you don't give them a chance to get rowdy all day. But those A&M fans are insane anyway. College Station is kind of a dump, so all they have is to get excited about football, and so they'll be rocking and rolling. But if Mizzou can pass that test, I'm going to be pretty happy about that for the Tigers. So A&M for me, number 8, pretty solid. You're starting to get now into the more solid teams at this point in the rankings.
Yeah, we getting solid. I think we got a similar list because in my 7 is
There you go.
Texas A&M.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, 7, 8, pretty much the same. They schedule and whatnot. They got a tough opener in Notre Dame, but Notre Dame always picks the hard openers. Florida up toss up, but I think they should beat them. Arkansas should beat Missouri L, Mississippi State dub, LSU L, South Carolina probably L, probably dub, and then Auburn Texas is toss ups. I mean, no, Auburn's not supposed to be that good, but I think 9 wins for them.
If they can beat Notre Dame, they're going to be kind of dangerous going into that Mizzou game because they could be 5-0 coming in. If that Notre Dame's the one, maybe Florida on the road they got to go to the swamp, but they could very well be 4-1 or even 5-0 going into the Mizzou game. And then I would have some really nervous feelings about it. I'm not chalking that up as a dub for Mizzou just yet, but it's one that they need if they're going to make the playoff.
Yeah, they need that. I don't think they're.
Go ahead.
No, I just said I don't think they're going to win the opening game, but that's just me.
Okay. They might not. For me, number 7 is Tennessee. So we just switched A&M and Tennessee. We got them pretty much the same spot.
Okay, cool. Number 6 for me is Alabama. This is where they come down to the ground. This is where they come, back to earth. They don't have. This is the first season without the old ball coach Nick Saban. He's finally went off into the shadow realm and never to be seen from again.
He's going to be on ESPN like every week, but that's fine.
Well, okay, from Alabama per se.
Okay.
But anyways, here's their schedule. Dub, Wisconsin dub. Georgia, they're taking that L. I don't care what nobody says.
All right. 3-1.
They're gonna probably beat Vanderbilt, South
4-1.
Carolina. Tough
5.
win, I think. Tough win by South Carolina. I think when they get at South Carolina, Tennessee, Mizzou, LSU, that's tough. They're gonna lose 2 of those games for sure.
Okay.
And then Oklahoma, Auburn, they're gonna lose one of those games. So
they're gonna maybe 8 or 9 wins. You're thinking?
I think 9. I don't think they're going to get 8. I think the first year without Saban, you're not making the college football playoff, and you're definitely not winning the SEC. So,
yeah, that's the one that's going to be the most polarizing because I just can't pick exactly where I think of them. I've got Ole Miss though at number 6, and this is where like I would start saying any of these top 6 could reasonably make the college football playoff. I'm not saying they're all going to. I think probably 4 of them will, but I'm not sure which 4. But Ole Miss for me, I've just got a little bit lower. They got a tough schedule, man. I think they're a good team. They're bringing back a really good quarterback, but I think their schedule makes it a little bit tough for them to get into the CFP this year. If they go 10-2 though with that schedule, I think that will be enough. I don't think every team that you would say is 10-2 would be guaranteed. Like Mizzou, it would depend on which games they lose. But Ole Miss, I think at 10-2, their schedule's tough enough that they'd be in.
Facts. Well, here's where you show me up because my number 5 team is Oklahoma. Like
all right.
you said,
pull me up
so
the
you
schedule.
can explain what your reasoning is.
Well, Temple is obviously an L. Not just playing. Temple, Houston, Tulane. All right, they're probably 3-0. Tennessee, it is at home. I'll say they lose one of Auburn and Tennessee because Auburn's on the road.
Auburn's garbage, though.
They're not great. They're not great. For me, they're 4-1 after the Auburn game. They're going to drop Tennessee or Auburn. I don't think they'll lose to Houston or something crazy like that, but you never do know. Texas, I have Texas. I mean, I just think Texas is the better team. They were by far the better team last year. I know you say don't just look at last year, but I'm gonna lean Texas because they're bringing back a lot of talent. They've added through the portal a lot of talent. So for me, at that point, OU is 4-2. They'll beat South Carolina at home. At Ole Miss, I'm taking the Rebels with that one. And you've got the Rebels higher than Oklahoma in your rankings because I haven't seen them on here yet, Ole Miss. So for me, that's loss number 3 already for Oklahoma. They'll beat Maine. at Missouri, November 9th, is the game of the year for the Tigers. I'm not taking
I'm gonna be
Oklahoma.
there. I'm gonna be there.
All right, I'll see you there, brother. And so that's number 4. And then they finish up Alabama, LSU. This Oklahoma team could go 7-5. Show me the 9 wins that makes them better than Alabama, or at least tied with Alabama, in your
The
opinion.
only losses I see on their schedule
I
is
guess Alabama or
Ole
no?
Miss,
Okay,
no, Ole Miss, Mizzou, and they'll drop maybe another
maybe
game. I don't know,
LSU.
maybe a Auburn, maybe a Tennessee. But I
LSU's at
see
the
them,
bottom. That
or
they could lose.
LSU, or
Yeah.
LSU. They could lose those 3. Everything else, and if they beat Texas, they can win 9 games. For me, I don't think Texas is going to be all that. It's their first year in SEC. Same as Oklahoma, first year in SEC. I
Yeah,
can see them dropping 3 or 4 3 or 4 games. That's why I don't have them number. That's why I have them number 5 too. So
Oklahoma's going to get their 6th win when they beat Maine, and after that, they might not win another game.
we'll see, Coach. Who's your number 5?
My number 5 team is LSU, and that, I mean, they're going to be really good. So to have them at number 5, a little bit scary, but I'm not going to put them above Mizzou just because I can't do that. I just can't. I believe in what the good Tigers, the Missouri Tigers, have a chance to do this year. But LSU, I mean, they took Mizzou's defensive coordinator, and their big problem last year was the defense. The only reason I don't have them higher, they recruited like crazy, but their whole offense is different, and we just don't know what it's going to be. Garrett Nussmeier is a highly regarded quarterback, but he's not the Heisman winner, Jaden Daniels. They had 2 receivers drafted, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, and their running back who tore up Mizzou last year is not there anymore either. So I'm not saying they're going to be bad because of all that changeover. There's just some uncertainty. I think that Blake Baker will help fix the defense. The offense will be very good. It won't be quite as elite as it was last year. And so number 5, there could be 5 SEC teams in the playoff. Maybe it's 4 and like an Alabama falls off, but I still have Alabama a little bit higher for right now.
Okay. Whew. This is a tough one right here.
Number 4. How big of a homer? How big of a homer does he want to be? That's the question. That's the only
making this list hurt my soul a lot because I was like, I'm trying to be rational.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to, I gotta be, I gotta root for the home squad. But I gotta keep transparency, man. I gotta keep transparency.
Okay.
I couldn't put Mizzou over 4, man, just because. Look, I think they're gonna have a good season, but Mizzou typically doesn't have 2 back-to-back plus 10 win seasons. We did it back in 2013.
You don't think they'll win 10?
I didn't say they wouldn't. I said they typically don't.
Okay.
We had it back in 2013 and 2014. That's the last time they had it. And before that, I think it was Chase Daniels' team that had that before.
Yeah.
It could happen again. It's a trend. 2 in a row, 2 in a row, 2 in a row. Now, next year, I definitely don't think they win in 10 games. This year, they have a chance because they have a very easy schedule again.
It's the same schedule next year, though. They just play on the road instead of at home.
Oh, it's the same schedule? Well, we don't know how the teams are going to be. And Mizzou won't have Brady Cook. I think Brady Cook's a senior this year.
Or Luther Burden.
And Luther Burden. So you're losing your 2 best players. I think Mizzou is going to be rough next year.
I think they'll be great because they'll continue to recruit. But let's just look at the schedule. Run it down. How many wins are we going to give them?
Dub. 3 dubs in a row. I'll be at that Boston College game. Might be at the Murray State game.
I'll be at Boston College for the first half. I have a wedding to go to.
Actually, I'm not going to be at that Boston College. That's the wrong
game.
Good.
I didn't want to see
I was at the Boston College game Mizzou lost in the last second of the game.
Yikes.
But 4 in a row, they beat Vanderbilt. They beat Texas A&M 5-0. Massachusetts, I will be at that Massachusetts game.
That's obviously an L. The Minutemen, you can't beat them.
Tough road game.
So
but I think they're gonna come through. I'm gonna come through and give the team a speech before the game.
So that'll get them to 6-0. I'm not counting A&M, but for right now, I'm gonna say win because I want it to be one.
I think they'd be an excellent Texas A&M. I think they're doing that. Auburn dub. Alabama. So
at Bama. Come on now. That's gonna be tough.
This is where I think they're gonna lose. I think they're gonna lose to Alabama.
If they're undefeated and they beat Bama, you will not be able to contain me. I will be talking national championship. Like I'll be a complete mess if that happens.
If they beat them, then yes, they will. They should make the playoffs.
But let's say an L there just to be like.
I'll just say an L there just to be because that's a lot. That's a lot. Oklahoma toss up. That's going to be a really 2 tough games back to back.
It's not even a question. They're not walking out on November 9th with an L.
Oklahoma's tough, man. Tough.
I just refuse to believe that they will lose on November 9th.
I could see Mizzou having another like what was that home game they lost last year that they should have won that people were tripping about.
Well, LSU
Um,
was the tough one where they just gave up so many yards to Logan Diggs and Jaden Daniels. But
there was
you know,
another
it
one they
happens.
lost. There was another one they lost at home because I remember seeing. I was just like they should have won the game and
Last
they
year
lost
they
it.
didn't lose.
Yeah,
Not last year though.
it
No,
wasn't last year.
no, dude. They
Okay,
only
maybe
had
that's
two
wrong.
losses. They lost to Georgia and LSU. That was it.
They
LSU
sh-
was the only home
okay.
loss.
They should have beat Georgia too. That's I was watching TV. They should have beat Georgia too.
I
They were
agree.
really close.
I agree with you.
But I think
One bad
Oklahoma is
throw.
one of those Georgia. Yeah, I think Oklahoma is one of those Georgia LSU games where they should win the game, but I just
Mm.
think something shakes down and it'd be like, what
So you think they're
happened.
going to lose two in a row, Alabama and Oklahoma,
I think it's very highly possible.
and then they win
South
the rest?
Carolina dub, Mississippi State dub, Arkansas dub. So I think look, it's Mizzou has a very easy schedule, like very easy in
10-2,
comparison to some of the other schools. 10 and
10-2.
2. I think they're 4 just because like the other teams ain't gonna lose more than 2 games, and if they do,
Yeah,
their strength of schedule is harder. Mizzou has
four
the
could get them
easiest
in.
strength of schedule.
Four could get them in. The problem with losing to Bama and Oklahoma is like, where do you get a signature win that's going to help you with the ranking? Maybe at A&M if A&M ends up being pretty good, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. That's going to be if that's the way it goes, it's going to be an uncomfortable selection show because they're going to be right on that borderline. If I had to guess, if that's the way it
Yeah,
happens,
yeah. I
personally,
mean,
I might. I don't want it to happen. They could lose to A&M and Alabama, and then I think that might be enough because they'd have the win over Oklahoma in the bag as well. But it's going to be tight. I hope they go 11-1. They beat A&M, they beat OU, they only lose to Bama. That they'll be in. And by the way, if they go 11-1, I think they'll be hosting a game at Faurot Field because they'll be ranked like number 5 or number 6. They'll probably be out of the SEC championship game because I think there could be a couple other 7-1s or a undefeated in the top 2. And that's almost okay. If Mizzou goes 7-1 and 11-1, we don't need to see him in the SEC championship game because I think they'll still be able to host a home game in the playoff if that happens.
oh yeah, most definitely. So
This sounds crazy that I'm talking 11-1, but I think you never know. It's possible. They have a good team.
We'll see. Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is also Mizzou. For a
Oh.
lot, but I'm at 10-2/11-1 with it, and
me too. Me too.
I think the top 4 to me could go in any. Honestly, the top 5 could go in any interchangeable order, but I'm a lot higher on Texas than you are, so that was what was tough for me. So you've got, I guess your next one's going to be maybe Ole Miss. What's number 3?
What's number 3? You ask.
Oh,
It's
you
LSU.
love the Rebels. Okay, so
Yeah.
LSU, I already had them. I think that they are a very, very loaded team. I just want to see what it looks like with a different quarterback. That's all.
So yeah, LSU they definitely they lost their Heisman Trophy winner, so we have to acknowledge that.
First round
And
receiver, another
yeah,
first round receiver.
They lost a lot, but they reload like nobody's business. So
You're right.
they got USC toss up honestly, but they should beat them.
Yeah.
Nicholls State dub, South
That's an L.
Carolina dub. Well, the crazy that UCLA actually I think is gonna be a really tough game. UCLA UCLA they have a new head coach. Deshaun
not-
Foster.
They're not
Deshaun
making
Foster.
they're not making a bowl game. UCLA
Deshaun
will not.
Foster is a good coach. He
Nope.
played for the Panthers and he
Nope.
played at UCLA too. I think he does that whole like Antonio Pierce Raiders type of thing where he's like the team or the players coach uplifting the team. But I think they're win the game, but it's gonna be a tough game. Anyways,
They're gonna get
South Carolina-
smacked in the face by the Big Ten. UCLA. Just that's my take.
We'll see. We'll see. South Alabama, Ole Miss, very, very, very tough game. They could lose that game. Arkansas win, Texas A&M win. Alabama, tough game as well. It's always going to be a tough game between them two. And then the
But
rest three.
I'll take LSU over Bama. Like that's a home game. I'll take LSU.
I'll take LSU too. So I could see them losing one, and that's probably Ole Miss.
That's fair. I don't think that's crazy. I actually would have LSU over Ole Miss, but I figure LSU would drop a road game. But they don't really have any tough road games. That's the beauty of it. A&M could be Gators. It's a tough place to play, but they might be kind of beaten down by then. They could lose. The LSU has a very nice schedule.
Easy schedule.
I should have probably put LSU higher than Mizzou because I think their schedule sets up really maybe even more favorably than Mizzou. But at the same time, like they have to still play Alabama and Oklahoma. Those are the two toughest games for Mizzou. They have to play at A&M. So it is pretty similar. LSU actually has a tougher road schedule than Mizzou. So never mind. I talked myself back into it. My rankings are true. I'm right. But they're going to be good. They're going to be good. I have Alabama at number 3, though. You had them way down at 6. I think Alabama's still going to be pretty good. Whether it's 10 wins or what it is, I think they're going to be in that range.
Okay. Alabama. We'll see if they can do it with who's their new head coach's name? What's his name?
Kalen DeBoer from Washington.
Washington. That's right. They got their old coach. Okay.
Yep.
Well, we down to the final 2 roses. Who's gonna get the rose and who's not? Well, I think it's obvious if you watch SEC at all, college football, this should be very easy to know who's at the very top and who's at the very bottom. And Ole Miss is number 2 for me. I think that you can't. Georgia's the team to beat still. Like, I don't care what nobody say. They still got a loaded team. They got their quarterback coming back, and everyone else is still playing second fiddle to them. But we'll get into the Ole Miss schedule real quick. So first 4 easy dubs. Then
They'll
we got
beat Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky dub, South Carolina dub. LSU tough game. Like
That's
we
a
just
big one.
talked about. We just talked about it.
But you like Ole Miss in that one, I guess, because you have them
I
above
do like
LSU.
them. I do like them. But I could see them dropping one game. If that be the LSU game, sure. Or if that could be the Oklahoma or actually Georgia. They probably gonna drop the Georgia game. That's the one game they drop. They should win the rest. And they'll be at the SEC championship game.
Yeah, that sets up favorably. If they beat LSU, I think Ole Miss is in the playoff for sure. If they can beat LSU,
but it's LSU or it's Ole Miss. It's like they're tied with each other to me. Like 2 and 3 are tied.
Okay, that's fair.
So,
and my number 2 is Texas, which is way different than what you have. But you showed their schedule. I just don't see less than 10 wins. Not even if I squint. So I think they're in the playoff.
I just think they're choke artist. You got to look past the numbers at a certain point and see what the team is. It's kind of like the Cowboys.
We'll revisit.
The Cowboys are always looking nice. Oh, they this, that, but it's the Cowboys at the end of the day. So it's like that's what kind of Texas is to me.
We'll revisit this after the Red River game because that's really going to be where it gets decided. Because you like OU, I think OU is kind of mid.
Okay, we'll see, Coach. And then obviously,
who's your number 1? Oh,
we'll just get into the schedule.
All right, it's Georgia. We know we both have Georgia.
Yes. If you don't have Georgia as your number 1, I think you're just either biased or delusional. At this point,
they didn't win the conference last year, just to be clear. But I agree, they're still the strongest. True. They're still Georgia. So I defer to Georgia at the beginning of this year. They're going to be great.
Yes, and they don't even have the easiest schedule, but it's Georgia. Like they're the gauntlet. They're the team. They got Clemson, tough. Well, I don't even know if
Clemson
will be good this year.
No, they won't be. They'll be fine.
Tennessee Tech, Kentucky, Alabama at Alabama, tough game. Very
tough
very
road
tough.
games. They have 3 tough road games.
Yeah, Texas and Ole Miss. Whew.
Dude. Maybe they missed in the playoff. I don't know.
They are missing the playoff.
9-3. Like with the schedule, and they have to still play Tennessee. It's at home, but Georgia might be 10-2. They'll make the playoff at that, but and I still put them at number 1, even saying that. But I think honestly, teams like LSU and Ole Miss have a better path to the playoff simply because of the schedule differences.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're probably one of the tougher SEC schedules. I mean, they don't get to play Vanderbilt, so no more easy SEC East for them. So it's definitely going to be a changing of the tide. But this is kind of the statement year where every year is going to be based off this year right here.
Okay,
and maybe Georgia falls down. Maybe they stand tall where they at. They got the quarterback coming back. I think the teams that got their quarterbacks coming back, I mean, except for Texas for me.
And you don't see that LSU doesn't have their quarterback coming back. You don't care about that.
I care about it. Look, LSU to me, for one, their schedule's favoring them.
Yeah,
2, they just churn them out. Like, I don't know what it is. They just churn it out. I wasn't. Right. That's kind of more LSU is more of kind of just like LSU and Texas, and who was the other one I had really low? I had somebody else really low. I had to throw some bones in there because everything's not going to be like it was the year before. Everything's not going to be the same. Things are going to switch up. We're going to see Mizzou was 2 years ago, they were bottom of the barrel-ish on the SEC. Now they're at the top. So things change. And I think if there's going to be some crazy swing somewhere, there's going to be. And I just had those teams as my swings.
Okay. No,
So
that's
it
fair. I
ain't.
understand
Yeah.
it.
But yeah, y'all, that was our SEC breakdown.
Hmm.
We wrapping up here. We got some good picks and we got some new things going on. This was our first episode, so it's gonna be a little bit longer than most. But we had to
You
get
was
y'all
just
in on the
talking so
vibes.
much. My goodness, you just talk and talk and talk. It's all
Hey,
about you.
people gotta hear the voice.
I know.
The voice of the voice of the future.
Okay, let's calm down. Let's everybody relax. Take a breath. All right.
Take a breath. Anyways, appreciate y'all for joining us. We out here, and if you want to catch Brandon and his content, make sure to follow him at bshafer12 on YouTube.
Yeah.
And if you like, tell him about your channel real quick.
Well, it's Cardinals baseball primarily. This is going to be football podcast for sure. But if you're a baseball person as well, youtube.com/at bshafer12. Lots of Cardinals stuff over there.
Lots of Cardinal stuff. The season's winding down. The playoffs getting approached. The All Star game just finished. The Bobby Witt Jr. did not come through with the championship of the home run derby,
Oh,
but the All Star games tonight. I know it's sad. I was watching it. I was like, dang, he almost had it, but just too short. But y'all, we out here. Appreciate y'all for joining. We gonna be back. We gonna make sure this is gonna be on Spotify and Apple Music as well. I forgot to mention. And till next time, y'all. Peace, blessings, and have a blessed